The God of the Old Testament is arguably the most unpleasant character in all fiction. Jealous and proud of it, a petty, unjust, unforgiving control freak, a vindictive, bloodthirsty ethnic cleanser, a misogynistic, homophobic, racist, infanticidal, genocidal, filicidal, pestilential, megalomaniacal, sadomasochistic, capriciously malevolent bully. What about the God of the New Testament? Here we have a God who wanted to forgive mankind its sins, including, by the way, the sin of Adam, who he presumably knew perfectly well never existed. Nevertheless, he wanted to forgive mankind's sins. Why didn't he just forgive them? Why was it necessary to have a human sacrifice, to have his son tortured and executed in order that the sins of mankind should be absolved? Is that not the most disgusting idea you ever heard? Why didn't he just forgive the sins? Why did he have to sacrifice a scapegoat?
Hawkins has a view of cheap grace. A real forgiveness comes from restitution, from cost, from sacrifice. It is not God sacrificing his son. It is his son who, in obedience to the divine will, living the divine will in a society that has gone wrong, that is corporately wrong, which is what original sin means, by the way.
So there can be no forgiveness without...
Let me just finish. It is his obedience in the context of a corrupt society that leads to his death. That is his sacrifice, and it is that which restores what was broken between God and human beings.
So there can be no forgiveness without a death, is that
No,
right?
it's not. I'm not saying that. There can be no forgiveness without cost.
How can you applaud that? How can you applaud that?
Because it's true.
നിങ്ങളുടെ മുഴുവൻ പാപങ്ങൾ ഏറ്റുവാങ്ങിയാണ് ജീസസ് മരിക്കുന്നത്. അതെന്ത് ക്ലെയിമാണത്? അത് ഒരു വല്ലാത്ത ക്ലെയിമാണ്. ഇത് ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞില്ല, ആദ്യത്തെ നീതിരഹിതമായിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു പ്രൊപ്പോസിഷനാണ് ക്രിസ്ത്യാനിറ്റി മുന്നോട്ട് വെക്കുന്നത്. ഒരാൾ ചെയ്യുന്ന കുറ്റത്തിന്, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ കുറേ പേര് ചെയ്യുന്ന കുറ്റത്തിന് വേറൊരാൾ. ജീസസിനെ ആരും കൊന്നില്ലായിരുന്നേ ജീസസ് ഇന്നും ജീവിച്ചിരുന്നേനെ. ഈസ് എ ചിരഞ്ജീവി. ഈ ഷുഡ് ബി. അല്ലേ? ഇതൊന്നും ആരും ചിന്തിക്കാറില്ലല്ലോ.
And it's interesting to look at pagan Rome before there was Christian influence. 40% were slaves. Men and women fought one another to the death in the Circus Maximus or the Colosseum. Women had no rights whatsoever. Infanticide was practiced regularly. The noble families didn't want baby girls. Christianity changed that, not perhaps by itself, but largely. The Catholic Church has a great record there. We look after more HIV sufferers than any other non-government organisation.
Now, you raise the question, doesn't it all have to be working before it'll work, it's any good? How could we bump along for millions of years with only half an eye? That's a bit of a fallacy, because actually only a quarter of an eye, only a hundredth of an eye is better than nothing. You can make a slowly climbing ramp of improvement from just the very rudiments of vision, just say being able to tell the difference between light and shade, nothing more than that, right up to the perfection of a human eye or the eye of a hawk, say. And in order for evolution to explain that, all we need is that there should be a ramp of improvement where every step, a hundredth of an eye, 200ths of an eye, 300ths of an eye, etc., 50% of an eye, 51% of an eye, each step has got to be an improvement on the one that went before.
Question for Richard Dawkins. The Big Bangers believe that once there was nothing, then suddenly, poof, the universe was created from a Big Bang. If I have nothing in the palm of my hand, close my fingers, speak the word bang, then open my fingers again, still I find there is nothing there. I ask you to explain to us in layman's terms how it is that something as enormous as the universes came from nothing.
Richard Dawkins.
Of course it's counterintuitive that you can get something from nothing. Of course common sense doesn't allow you to get something from nothing. That's why it's interesting. It's got to be interesting in order to give rise to the universe at all. Something pretty mysterious had to give rise to the origin of the universe.
As an atheist, Professor Dawkins, do you believe that believing in God for emotional support should be allowed even temporarily? Research has proven that people who believe in God has a better chance of surviving terminal illnesses such as cancer, as well as living longer when they go to church. So do you think that believing in God is beneficial for our well-being, even if God is an illusion?
It's perfectly possible that, as you say, believing in God has beneficial effects upon health. It's possible that you're less likely to suffer a duodenal ulcer or something of that sort.
Without religion, where is the basis of our values? And in time, will we perhaps revert back to Darwin's idea of survival of the fittest?
It is true that Christianity has adopted many of the best values of humanity.